welcome to the channel. So as a part of this video, I'm going to take a mock interview with one of my subscriber. His name is Ankit, having a total of 3.5 years of experience into software testing. He requested me that I should take his mock interview for the skill manual testing. So let's welcome him. Hello.
Hello,
Hi Ankit, how are you?
I'm good.
Okay, comfortable?
Yeah, I'm comfortable.
Okay. You have any questions that you would like to ask me before we proceed?
No, right now, I didn't have any question.
Okay. Sure. So if you're totally confident and relaxed, let's get started. So before proceeding, I just want to tell you that even though you're not able to answer something, that's totally okay. You're not losing something because this is just a mock interview. I will be asking you questions based on the skill that you have requested me. The skill will be manual testing. And I believe you have 3.5 years of experience, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I will be asking questions based on that, and whichever answer, whatever you feel, you can give it to me. And wherever I feel that you're lacking somewhere, then I will add extra points from my side to that answer. So that will be totally fine. So shall we
yeah,
proceed?
sir. Yeah.
Okay. Throughout the video, you can call me Manish. No need to call me anything else. You can call me Manish. And
Okay, Manish.
yeah, sure. Sure, Ankit. Then you can go ahead to introduce yourself.
Uh, I'm Ankit Verma, and currently I'm working in Saffron Tech Private Limited as a software tester. Previously, I was employer of AdGuide Solution Private Limited, and talking about my experience, I have experience in web application testing and mobile application testing and API testing. And currently I'm working into two mobile applications. First one is a seamless addition learning, and second one is a golden drivers.
Okay. You want to tell more?
Yeah, now I'm looking for a new opportunities, means in terms of the technologies, in terms of the new technology like Node.js and Node.js project and React Native projects.
Okay. I want to understand this question from you. Tell me whatever is there in your mind. Don't take me wrong, but I want to understand that you have 3.5 years of experience, right? And this is your
Yeah,
third company, as per my understanding, because your resume is just right next to me. I'm asking questions only from your resume, nowhere else.
yeah.
So I wanted to understand this, like in your 3.5 years of experience, you are working in your third company now, and why are you moving to fourth company? Just want to ask the reason. If you're comfortable answering this, otherwise we will skip this
Yeah,
question.
I'm comfortable because I'm not from CSE background. I'm from the mechanical background, and it's starting phase is very difficult to get a job in the IT sector. And the, in my hometown, the first company is in my hometown, and I didn't get a very big opportunities in my hometown. That's why I moved to Delhi NCR location to get a job, and. And due to COVID there are, and if you're talking about the current situation, due to COVID there are very less number of projects. They are not new upcoming project in current company, and most of the projects are international.
Okay.
That's why I'm looking for a job for a safer side.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Tell me one thing. Have you decided that you are going to work only in north side, or you're comfortable to move in the south side too, in India?
Anywhere, not an issue. If
Okay.
opportunity is fine, then i will
Okay.
I will go for the interview and attend the company,
Okay.
join the
Okay.
company.
Sure, Ankit. Ankit, I want to know that why did you move from your second company with just 7 months of experience? Any reason? What made you to change?
Yeah, sir, it's a very startup, and it's a sister concern of any company. And after 7 months, I got to know again it's going to merge.
Oh,
That's why uh, I switched to next company.
okay. No issue. That's totally okay if you're not comfortable in some company. If you're feeling that something is lacking, you must change it. That's totally okay. But you
Yeah, I
should be
didn't get
having
a
a genuine
much.
reason for that, like why you are changing, to tell to anyone.
I didn't get a much opportunity in that company, and they pushing me in other profile, and I didn't supposed to work for other profile because I want to grow my career in a testing profile.
Okay, sure. Ankit, I want to tell you something. Don't take me wrong. You are the first candidate who has mailed me about his interview process, and I have contacted your ex-company director to talk with him regarding you. So I spoke with Keshav Dev, if you remember him. I mean, let's not
Yeah,
talk about that company or about him in this video anymore. So I spoke with Keshav Dev. You know him, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I spoke with him about you, like how you were. I got a positive response, and that's the reason I'm conducting this mock interview. At starting point, when I saw your resume, I thought that there are many places at which you could have improved your resume. At the end of this video, when this interview session is totally over, I will be sending you a sample resume. You can see that resume and prepare your resume that will suit for you. So at present moment,
Yeah,
which your resume you have shared with me, uh, it is not that great. See, this is the feedback from my side just because it's a mock interview. The reason I'm telling, because you
yeah, yeah.
should prepare a better resume that will help you. That will help only you, right? Not me. So you are the first candidate whom I saw the experience and number of companies that you have worked on, and I contacted their, I mean, companies. I contacted the person I told you. I got a good response from him, and so I thought let's continue with him. Okay, okay, Ankit, sure. So you're okay with this video to go live on my channel?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Not issue.
okay. Ankit, I want to understand, like in this 3.5 years of experience, coming to technology part or coming to skills, I want to understand like what and all things you have learned in this 3.5 years of experience. I know that you have worked on manual testing, but can you tell me a little more that in this 3.5 years of experience, what all things you have learned?
In 3.5 years of experience, I learned a lot, like how the actual application behave, what are the different scenarios in which a user can test, and what is the main business of, if any project, what is the main business for that, and why we are, and how the app will help the society, how the app will going to help the society.
Okay. Okay. Ankit, I feel that you are not relaxed mind. I want you to be relaxed. Take 2 minutes and be relaxed. Then we will continue this. I think just because I have said about whatever I did, you are into tension. You don't have to worry about anything.
No,
This
I
is a
didn't.
mock interview. I don't want to
Yeah.
see you in trouble or seeing you in thinking something else other than this interview. I want you to be relaxed, calm mind so that you can answer the queries that I'm asking. Okay, sure. Uh, I can see that you have written in your resume that you have worked on API testing, right? I want to understand like what, according to you, is the difference between your GUI testing. I can see you have written in your resume and API testing. What is the difference between, according to you, between GUI and API?
GUI is a graphical user interface, and if you're talking about the API, there is a no UI is present. We test the application on the business logical layer of the application. And talking about the GUI, we perform the testing on front end. We check also a look and feel. And if you're talking about the API testing, look and feel, it doesn't matter, because we check only the core business logic is working fine or not, and core business work logic is as expected or not.
Okay. So in, as you said me that in API testing, you check whether the business logic is working or not. And in your GUI, you will test it from the front end, whether the application is behaving perfectly fine or not. I understood this part. But tell me, in your API testing, when you're testing the logical, business logical is working perfectly fine or not, after you have tested and verified and you have given that it is working fine, what will be the next approach that company will do? If business logic is working, then what company will do? What will be the next step?
If business logic is completed, then logic is implement in UI and check in UI.
Okay. Okay. So you're telling first we will test the API and then we will integrate that with the UI.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to understand from you that why do you think that why directly we can't go for GUI testing instead of first testing API and then doing GUI testing? Any idea?
Sorry, pardon again.
Okay. I'm asking what do you think is the reason behind testing first the APIs and then finally integrating it with the UI? Why don't we directly test with the GUI? Why we are testing API?
Uh, Before implementing the API, we test in GUI. We test API because it save a lot of time of a developer. If early bug can find while testing a API, while testing API.
Okay. But
And
tell me.
if we talk about the GUI, uh, if we found a bug in root level, we can say in the root cause, then it takes a lot of time to fix that bug. In
Okay.
API testing, we get the where is the bug, whether it's a client side bug, whether or it's a se- uh, server side.
Okay. Okay. But you said me right that we test the API first and then we integrate with GUI to save time. You said me right this one. So
Yeah.
as per my understanding, when you are testing with the API first, and then finally you will integrate with the UI, and then again you will test it, right? So here you are testing in two phases. You are first testing the APIs. You are testing whether all the APIs, that is all the logic that developer has written, it is working perfectly fine or not. You are finding some bugs, developer is fixing it, you are retesting it. Finally, you are giving that authority that yeah, it is working fine. Let's integrate with the UI. I understood this part. And now once it is integrated with the UI, are you going to perform another round of testing or not?
Uh, yeah, sir. We test on the GUI then,
Okay.
not again.
So I feel
Not
it
again.
again, you are wasting time, right? So my question is, why are you performing testing twice? So in simple way, I'm just trying to ask you, why are we doing API testing then?
In API testing, we make sure uh, it's a client side bug or a server side bug, or what is the response time. But if we're talking about the GUI, we didn't get what is the response time, or sometimes we didn't get whether it's a client side bug or whether it's a server side bug, backend admin, backend bug,
Okay,
backend.
not exactly. I will tell you one way why we test API. See, we test API. There are two reasons for that. Let's say you are a company, you own a company, and whatever the software you are developing, the same customer is going to use it. So in your company, if software is developed and customer is directly using it, what you will do, you will first develop the APIs, test it whether it is working fine or not, and then finally you will hire the front-end engineers. They will integrate that developed APIs with the UI, and then finally testers will test it whether it is user interface is working perfectly fine or not. This is one way of why we develop or why we test API. There is another way, there is another reason why we test API. See, there are different companies who do not write the code from scratch. They take the
Yeah, yeah.
API which is already developed from different companies because they don't want to waste their time in writing the code from scratch. In those companies, testing the API is necessary because when I have developed some API, there are different companies who want these APIs. And finally, you have seen, right? Any two companies do not have the same UI. If two companies are there, they both will be having different UI, right? Today, Amazon can't copy the UI of Flipkart, right? They can do it, but why they will do it? Everyone want to have their different UI, right? So if some company has developed the API, just because some other company do not want to write the code from scratch, they will consume this already developed APIs. And that is the reason we do API testing, because I'm developing APIs and that's all is my job, because finally I know that this APIs is going to be taken by some other companies. They are going to finally integrate it with their front end. And that is the reason we mainly do API testing. This is one of the
And
reasons.
other
Tell me.
other company will responsible means if we take a API from already develop API from B company, then A company will be responsible to check whether it is working fine as expected or not.
Exactly. So there are two reasons of testing the API. One reason I told you, if you are companies developing API, and then finally they will only integrate with the front end and give the software directly to the customer, and customer is only going to use it. So this is one way. And the second way is you are developing API because there are different companies who are finally going to consume your API. So this is the
Okay.
reason. You got my point?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you give me an example where you could figure out now that any company is consuming different company API? Any idea you have? I'm sure that you will be using smartphone, right?
Yeah.
So I'm
Uh,
sure that you will be downloading many apps from Play Store or anywhere. So any idea, like any company is taking some other API, or any company is taking API of some different company? Anything that you can think of?
yeah, like a food API, workout API, or if you're talking about the social login,
Social login. Tell me more about it.
uh, it's a kind of where we need a developer's account to connect with the Facebook and get a Facebook will get Facebook through Facebook we are login.
Exactly. If simple example that you have given, let's suppose tomorrow I am developing a I have a new company tomorrow, and I have developed a new app called as MKT example, and I don't want customer to log in into the application by their mail ID or something, but I want them to log in with Facebook. So I'm not writing the code of Facebook from scratch. I'm just taking the authenticity, or that is login API of Facebook in my application, or I want my users to log into the application with Gmail. So I will consume Google Gmail API in my application, in my MKT application. I'm not writing the authenticity API from scratch in my company, but I'm just consuming it from Facebook or Gmail. So this is the way one company is taking the other already developed API, and just to save time, nothing else. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, Fine. Uh, I can see in your resume that you have written that you were involved in preparing test plan, right? I want to understand, like in your company, how your test plan was looking like. I want to understand each components of it. If you can tell me something, I don't want to explain me fully, but each components, if you can tell me how your test plan was looking like, that would be great.
Test plan is a formal document, and there are different artifacts like test planning, a test strategy, uh, what is the approach, and what to test, what to not to test, and what is the objective of writing that uh, test plan, and effort estimation time, all the uh, all the artifacts we cover in test plan.
Okay. And is there something that you are missing? See, I'm not expecting 100% answer, because I understand that you have 3.5 years of experience. And I know that you are not someone who is reading books on daily basis. I know that, nothing to worry. But I'm asking, are you sure that this only consists of your test plan, or there is something else that you're missing?
I think I covered all the things.
Okay.
What
Okay.
what is going to test, what are not going to test,
Yeah, sure.
and
Now I'm going to tell you something. Just let me know whether that will be a part of your test plan or not. So release note will be a part of test plan or not?
Release notes we really is also a formal document, and we uh, deliver to the client after build is ready and all the things are covered. What if any new feature is implemented, then new feature, if there is any enhancement, we mention any enhancement, what are the effort estimations, and if there is a minor bug, then we also write that scenario.
Yeah, I understood this part that you have given me definition of, or you have given me explanation of what is release note. I'm asking, can your release note be inside your test plan?
No. Mm,
Okay. Like, why do you think so? It won't be in the part of release note. See, I will tell you something. Test plan, right? Why we do test plan? Test plan is nothing but it's a document which consists of all testing activity,
all the
right?
activities,
Okay.
all the activities.
And you know the meaning of release, right? Releasing is the software into the production.
Yeah,
And
releasing
what?
the software.
Okay. And what you do before releasing the software to the customer, or what you do together while releasing the software to the customer, you give release note 2 in the with the software, right? Do you agree? Have you given that before
Yeah,
in
yeah,
your?
yeah.
Okay. So when you are releasing the software to the customer, you will be giving release note. Today, if you see, if you go to any app inside your Play Store, today also you can check it out. You have seen that, right? You have installed already WhatsApp, but after every 1 month or 7 days or 10 days, it will ask to update the app, right? That updating the
Yeah,
app is nothing but a new release given by WhatsApp company. If you go to the Play Store and if you go to the WhatsApp, if you go more detail into it, you could see that it's a release note given. This is one of the basic example that I can tell you just now, which you can also check it out after this interview. So
okay.
release note is something that will be a part of your test plan. Just telling you for your future reference, nothing to worry. Don't think that for your each and everything, I am telling that it's wrong or something. My intention is not to prove you wrong. My intention is to make you correct. I hope that's totally okay, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. And yeah, and I want to understand like, do you think that entry and exit criteria should be a part of your test plan?
Yes, sir. Every test in STLC, if we're talking about the STLC, every phase has some entry or exit criteria.
Okay. Sure. So you think that this should be a part of your test plan, right?
Yeah, what are the risk factor? What are the assumptions?
Okay. Sure. I
What
got it.
will
I
be the
got it.
entry?
I got it. Sure. I can see in your resume you have written that you have worked in both waterfall model as well as agile model. I want to understand, like, from you, what differences or what you could figure it out that what exactly is waterfall or what exactly is agile. If you can tell me in very short.
Waterfall model we use when the project is not complex, the requirement is very simple and clear. There is no change in requirement. Means if we're talking about the waterfall, requirement are freeze, and if we're talking about the agile methodology, uh, requirement change are welcome at the later stage of the development phase also. And if we're talking about the waterfall model, once the design stage is reached, the backtracking is not possible. It will take a lot of time. But in Agile, there is no such concept. As I said, welcome changes, client changes are welcome in Agile methodology. And interaction of client from beginning of the project in Agile methodology, but in a waterfall model, client will get the actual project after all the phases are covered
Okay. And
at
in
at the
which
end of
model?
the
Got it. Got it. And in which model you think that document plays a major role?
in Agile.
Okay. Okay. See, in waterfall model, as you said me right, that backtracking is not possible once after feasibility. You said me design. I will tell you feasibility study. So once after feasibility study is done, you said me right, in waterfall model, backtracking is not possible. That is, changing the requirement is not at all possible. And once you have taken the requirement, you will note it down very seriously. And the same thing will be given to the design team, to the HLD team, LLD team, or if all are same, to them, and also to the testing team, developers. So in your waterfall model, document plays a very important role because backtracking is not at all possible. They will they will ensure that for each and every requirement they have written the set of test cases, test scenario, and it is up to date. Each release they will make sure that it is updated. For each and every release they will cover all the testing. They will they will perform test execution for all the test cases. And in your waterfall model, that's the reason your document plays a very important role. But as you said me that in your agile model, wow, document plays an important role. No, in your agile model, document does not plays an important role because, as you know that, right, agile is something which uh, accept changes very fast. And just because deliveries we have to give very fast, we can think of documenting at the later stage or in the end or maybe after the release. But our main intention is to develop the software, test it, and release it. So important plays a major role in your waterfall model and less role in your agile model.
Right.
Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Anywhere you feel that you don't agree with me, or anywhere you feel that whatever he's talking is not really correct, you can let me know. We can debate on that. No issue. Because this is also will be a helpful session to many of us who will be watching us on YouTube, right? So you can ask me if you think that whatever I'm talking is something which is not really understandable. That's totally okay. Now I want to ask you, in which SDLC model, in your waterfall model or your agile model, if fresher is joining the company, he will feel little difficulty to work. What do you think? In waterfall model, he will feel difficulty to work, or agile model, if any fresher is joining, he will feel difficulty to work.
I think in agile methodology.
Yeah, in agile methodology, if any fresher is joining, he will feel difficulty to work because there will be no documentation, as I said in the starting. That's really nice answer. That's fine. I want to understand, you have worked in your three companies till now, and I want to understand what was the size of your testing team in your each three companies.
Uh, in my first company, I am the only tester
Got it. Okay.
in KD Software. And in my second company, which I told you is a product-based company, AdGuide Solution, there are three testers,
Okay.
and in my present company, there are five testers.
Okay. Got it. Like, I want to understand, like, how was the work environment when you work only as a tester, as a individual, and when you were three or when you were five? What was amazing to work as a single or as a three or as a five?
nahi, as a five, because we, if sometime if somewhere I stuck, then I will take a help from my seniors and co-colleagues also in that case. So he or she will get share experience. So it will be fine to work in a team size of team five,
Okay. And
because
what was something? Hey, tell me, please tell me.
because more number of scenario we will get uh, if somewhere I will stuck.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. Yeah, I understood this part. Um, what was something that you were missing when you were the individual contributor in the testing department in your company? In your first company, as you said me that you were individual, right? In testing department, only you were there. What was something that you were really missing?
Responsibilities are more. Responsibilities are more, and work pressure is more, because you are the only the responsible to deliver, whether you are delivering a fine software or whether it's a buggy software.
Okay,
And work pressure is more because you are the only tester, and you have also a different project to work on.
got it. So I believe
but pressure is
your
more.
first company will be product based, right?
No, it's a service base.
Service based. Okay. So you were following documentation in your in your first company, because I believe you were the individual, so you're getting time to document each and everything. Just asking.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. You were using any tool there to save your document, or you were using just on Excel sheet?
Google Drive.
Okay, got it. Got it. Any idea about soak testing? What it is? Soak testing?
So,
Soak. SOAK.
no idea, sir.
Okay, no issue, no issue. No issue, Ankit. Nothing to worry. Yeah, you are not losing something. I'm there to help you on each and every step here. See, on my channel, I have uploaded a video on performance testing. So, soak testing is one of the type of performance testing. So, you know something about performance testing?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, okay. I will ask you later. But your soak testing is nothing but testing the stability and response time of an application by applying load continuously for a particular period of time. That is, you are testing some application response time or stability by applying load and leaving it like that. That is, let's say tomorrow you are working in some Maruti Suzuki company, and you know that they develop cars, right? So your job will be to drive the car continuously. Example, I'm just telling. I'm just giving an example. So soak testing is something you're testing it thoroughly, maybe for 12 hours or maybe for 14 hours continuously, just to see how the application is responding. Or maybe if you're working tomorrow in some. So I was telling you about soak testing, SOAK. It is nothing but testing the stability and response time by applying load continuously. That is, maybe you
Okay.
are using mobile, any mobile that you are using, and you are using it for continuous period of time. And you are checking what is the application, what is the stability and response time of the application. So this is called as performance testing.
Okay.
Soak testing. Soak testing is one of the type of performance testing. That's fine. You can get this video on my channel. I mean, if you want to learn this topic, you can definitely go through. No issues.
Yeah.
Any idea about what exactly is performance testing? If you can tell me a little more
Yeah,
about it.
performance testing is a type of a non-functional testing in which check the application under different condition, like uh, what the response time if number of user are more as per expected, uh, what is the behavior of the application when the uh, particular particular load is applied for a particular duration of time, and it's a different type, like stress testing, load testing,
Got this. Got
endurance
this.
testing,
Why do you think
fight.
that doing a performance testing is really required?
Yeah, it's a required, but it's depend upon the client requirement, whether the client is wants the performance testing or not.
Okay, let's suppose that you are not working for some client, you are working for your own company. Let's say product-based company you are. You are developing the software and customer is directly using it. You do not have any client in between. Like that time, what you will do? You will do performance testing or not?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, why will you do?
Because uh,
Because now there is no client requirement. So why will you do? Just trying to understand.
we check whether whether our application is able to bear that particular amount of load or not.
Hmm.
If suppose if the application is designed for 1,000 user, uh, and in any abnormal condition, the number of user are more, suppose 2,000 user and 5,000 user, the application behavior, what is the application behavior, whether it's going, whether it's crashed or not.
Okay. Yeah, got it. Got it. That's a really nice answer. That's a really nice answer. Now let's move to the next question. Now I will be explaining to something. You just have to tell what all about I'm talking. So the I will start my explanation from here. So if you execute the same set of test cases for the longer run, let's say you have the set of test cases now, and you are executing the same set of test cases for the coming 1 year continuously. And because of that, you are not able to find out number of more bugs. What it is called as?
We have to update our test cases, traceability, also update the traceability metrics also.
Okay.
We have to update the test cases. It's
Okay.
I think we in technical term we said pesticide paradox.
Pesticides paradox. Yeah, that's the right answer. That's the right answer. Are you aware of conditional sign off, or have you done it in your 3.5 years of
Hello,
experience?
hello.
Yeah, I can hear you, Ankit. Ankit, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm asking, are you aware of conditional sign off?
Yeah, I'm aware about that.
Tell me, please tell me.
When in any module there is a bug and I put all my efforts to fix that bug. I put a screenshot. I talk to my manager, but at the end, uh, at the end, they are not. The bug is not fixed, and I have to deliver the project to a production or deliver a project to my manager. So in that case, I put a mail and share all the screenshot which I use and share all the effort to fix that bug and share with my higher manager. It's a conditional sign up.
Okay.
Means I
So,
am not available if client will chase.
got it, got it. Tell me one thing. If you have done a conditional sign off, will you mention that condition in your release notes or not?
Yeah, I have to mention that.
Okay. If you don't mention, what will happen?
As a tester, I have to mention and as a tester, I didn't want to break the trust of the client
Okay.
and in later stage if client find that issue then it's not good for uh,
Okay.
our company.
Yeah, yeah, that's the right answer. That's the right answer. Ankit, I want to understand. Have you come across this word called as fatal defects?
Sorry.
Fatal defects. Have you come across that?
Yeah, fatal defects are the defects which cause the failure.
Okay. Can you give me an example of fatal defects?
uh, Suppose we deliver an application to a client and one important module is not working as expected and everything uh, and the blocker is there on that module. It's a fatal defect.
Okay, yeah, that's the right answer. So fatal defects, in short, it is nothing but a blocker defect. This is very easy definition that you can tell to anyone. Fatal defect is nothing but a blocker defect. Now, what is blocker? You already know that. That you said me that one of the module is not at all working, and one of the module is not at all working. That will be a blocker. So that will be fatal defects. Absolutely correct answer. You're aware of this deferred defect or trivial defect? Any idea? Deferred defect?
Trivial defect, it's a beautification defect. Means it's a minor. Priority or severity both are minor,
Okay. Can you give me
and it's
example
not
of deferred defect?
impacting any functionality.
Exactly, exactly. Can you give me an example of deferred defect? Exactly.
Deferred. Suppose it's any website and the company logo is not a size of a company logo is not same, or we can say the color of a company logo is mismatched as per the design document, and it's a fatal or trivial defect because, as you know, functionality is not hampered.
Okay. It is not, you use the word fatal. You mean trivial, right? Or deferred?
No, it's not a fatal. It's a trivial or trivial defect. It's a trivial defect.
Got it, got it. Yeah, yeah, that's absolutely correct answer. That's absolutely correct answer. If you know the meaning of defect masking, I want to understand if you can give me one example of it.
Sorry, pardon, sir.
Defect masking. I want to know the example of this. If you are aware of what is defect masking.
Uh, Suppose there is a one it's a one module, and there is a bug in that module, and there is another module which is about to develop, which is not developed. But once this module is developed, uh, that module will cover that bug.
Okay. Can you give me an example?
Uh, right now, I'm not recalling.
Okay. It's a very simple thing. I'll tell you one thing. Let's say you have an application and you will log into the application and then you will use it, right? Any application, you will log in and then you
Yeah.
will use it. Now, let's say instead of now when you are logging in, there is a defect and it is blocking you to proceed further. So, and in this application that you are working on, it has 4 modules in it, and when you go deeper testing, you could find that in your all the modules there were defects, but now you're not able to test those 4 modules because your login functionality itself is not working. Your login bug is masking the defects that are present inside. So this is one of the big good example that you can give to anyone for defect masking. One defect is hiding the another defect. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, I'm agree.
okay. I will tell you some explanation. You need to tell me what it is. So developers are intentionally adding the defects in the software just to check that my software testers are able to find out that defects or not. What it is called as?
Known defect.
Tell me again. Known defect.
Known defect.
No, no, no. See, let's say I'm the developer now and you are the software tester. Now I'm intentionally adding the defects in the software just to check whether out of 10 software testers, out of 10 software testers in my company, who is going to find out the more number of defect? What it is called as? Any idea or heard about this?
No, sir.
Okay, it is called as error seeding. You are seeding the error in the application just to check that, like, how clever or how my software testers are able to find out the bugs or not. You ever come across this word before?
No, sir.
Okay, you're clear now?
Yeah, first time I get from you.
Okay,
Yeah, this is clear.
okay. See, the reason I'm asking you little weird kind of questions or little deeper questions is because your experience is more. Now, I will talk more
Yeah.
deeper about your experience at the end of this video. At present moment, let's focus on questions. So I want to understand if you are aware of entry and exit criteria for your smoke testing. If you can tell me entry or exit criteria for your smoke testing.
Uh, Entry and exit criteria. Entry criteria is that requirement is cleared,
Okay.
and we make a test cases for in which smoke testing we perform a basic and critical feature.
Mhm.
So basic and we perform testing on module which is higher importance,
Mhm.
and exit criteria text execution report of that test cases.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But exit criteria of your smoke testing is that your all the smoke test cases should be passed, and then only will proceed, right? So you have to use this particular term that your
Yeah,
smoke
yeah,
testing is something which will tell you whether
yeah.
to proceed further or to reject the build. So smoke testing exit criteria is something which will give you an idea whether I really should accept the build or not. And when you will accept the build, you will accept the build once your all the smoke test cases are passed. Do you agree?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, I got it that you have worked on API testing. So I'm sure that you will be knowing what is get, what is post, what is put, what is delete. I got this, but do you have any idea, like any other HTTP method? I'm not asking you to tell me brief about it, but I'm just asking, do you know any other HTTP method, any HTTP method that you're aware of other than your get, post, put, delete?
Uh, a purge, and a patch options. I have one. I have one. The method is also option.
Yeah, it is there. Correct. Exactly. That's fine. That's fine. You said me purge, right? That's excellent.
Yeah. Okay.
So there are many actually. There is link, unlink, lock, unlock, head. There are many. I'm really happy that you could tell me that purge and purge is one of the HTTP method that you can expect in any of the interviews because your experience is more now. Now I want to understand one final question. Have you come across 504 HTTP status code?
504. It's a bad gateway.
Not bad gateway.
Bad. It's a client side error, and sorry, it's the server side error. It's a server side error. 500 series is a server side error,
Yes.
and a bad response, I guess.
Okay, nothing to worry. Your 504 is your gateway timeout that your application has not responded within the given period of time. And that's the reason you will get 504, telling that gateway has timed out. So that's okay.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, that's fine. So that's all from this session, Ankit. I was happy with you. You could answer me almost 80 to 85%. And wherever you were lagging, I gave my suggestion from my side and added to your answer. I hope um, I hope what all questions I asked will be benefiting you in the future. And I'm sure
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you have learned few things from today interview. And I'm sure that people who will be watching us, they will also be learning new things from this video. And if I have to give any suggestion to you, I will just give you that if you have not started automation testing today, I would request you to watch it because start it because your experience is now more. And you can do that on my, I mean, if you're interested, there is a playlist on my channel called as Java playlist and Selenium playlist. You can just start from there. I have taught in a very easy language. If you are getting this knowledge from somewhere else, you learn it is up to you. The intention of telling to you is because you will learn it, because your experience is now more. People will expect you to know automation. And yeah, that's all
Yeah.
from idea from my side, or any suggestion from my side. If you need any other suggestion, then you can please ask me.
Uh, Feedback. What about the feedback? What will you give other suggestion apart from automation testing, learning automation testing, learning
I'll tell you
Java
that
concepts?
if your company is not giving you a chance to work on automation side, then I will suggest you to start working in home. See, today I'm sure that you will be having laptop, right? and your company is not your,
Yeah.
even though you are not having a personal laptop, or even though you are having it, if you're having it, you can install it in your personal laptop. If you're not having it, you can install it in your office laptop. Nothing to worry. No one is going to check it. Even though they're checking, you're not doing any crime. And just by installing, you can learn. If your company is not giving you a chance, you can start it by yourself. And I'm sure that will bring a lot of changes in you. It will bring a lot of changes from each side, because companies expecting to do automation, and if you know that, that will bring wonders to your life. So that's all suggestion from my side. You have any suggestion for me?
No, sir. Right now, I didn't have any suggestion. Some most of the concept I get through your videos and mock interviews.
Okay. Okay, that's good to hear, Ankit. I wish you a good health and a good future. And I want to see you smile throughout. I don't know why you were sad in between. I don't want to see you sad. I want to see you smiling throughout your life. And whenever possible, if in case, whenever you have any kind of doubt regarding your career, regarding your job, you can just reach to me out on my mail ID, and I will definitely respond to you within 24 hours. And yeah, that's all. I hope you have a good day and good.